In a small town called Delta, Ohio, Sierra Jewin was born on February 11, 1996. She grew up in a big, loving family alongside her two sisters and two brothers. Sierra was passionate about sports, especially volleyball, and loved traveling. Her dream was to visit Italy, and she worked hard in school to make that dream a reality. After finishing high school, Sierra began dating Josh while attending Toledo University, about 50 kilometers away from her home. She aimed to major in human resources to join her uncle's metal fabrication business after graduation. Despite the distance between her university and home, she was determined to balance her studies and her relationship with Josh. They even picked out engagement rings, planning a future together. During her summer break, Sierra returned home to spend quality time with her family and boyfriend. Although she had some remaining coursework from her university studies, she decided to complete it from home to cherish moments with her loved ones. Additionally, she interned at her uncle's business, diligently preparing for her post-graduation employment there. In her 20s, Sierra meticulously planned her future. One day, she made the decision to drive to her boyfriend's house. Following her departure on her bike, an unexpected event occurred, prompting the police to initiate a search after reading "without a trace." They couldn't have imagined the startling information they'd uncover in just a few days. Even experienced FBI agents were shocked by the details that emerged in the case. The outcome was unforeseen and deeply unsettling. Sierra's story took a tragic turn, stirring emotions across the community and beyond. Her loving nature, dreams for the future, and the promising life she was building came to an abrupt and heartbreaking end, leaving many reeling from the devastating turn of events. On July 19, 2016, a young woman had recently gotten a new bike. She left home around 5 p.m. to go to Josh's house. When her mother came back home at 9 p.m., she noticed her daughter was gone, which seemed a bit strange because it was getting dark. Since her daughter was in her 20s and it was summertime, her mom didn't worry at first, thinking she might be staying over at her boyfriend's place. But when Josh called around 10:30 p.m. and couldn't reach her, things changed. He said they had split up around 7 p.m., and he hadn't heard from her since. This made the young woman's mother start to worry a lot. It had been more than 3 hours, and they couldn't find her. Josh and her mom started calling the young woman's friends and family, hoping she had gone to visit someone else. When Sierra, who was 20, went missing, the police began looking for her because Josh was the last person to see her. Josh told them Sierra had come to his place around 5 p.m. after riding her bike for about an hour and a half. Her mom checked hospitals, but Sierra wasn't there, so she went to the police around midnight to report her missing. Sierra and Josh had been riding, she on her bike and he on his motorcycle, through fields and rural roads. Josh took a photo of Sierra riding her bike and posted it online. Later, they split up about a mile from her home, each going their own way. When officers were searching, they found Sierra's bike in a strange condition in a field along her route home. It seemed like someone had pushed through the cornfields. They discovered Sierra's bike with bloodstains and a sock nearby. They found more items nearby: a screwdriver, car fuses, and men's sunglasses. They followed motorcycle tracks through the fields, which led them to the bike. This worried the investigators, and they started suspecting foul play, thinking Sierra might have been taken. When someone goes missing, often those closest to them come under suspicion. Josh, on a motorcycle that evening, caught attention because there were tire marks near it. Detectives wondered why he didn't ride the bike home instead of walking, especially since the girl, Sierra, had a short distance to cover. Josh agreed to let the police check his home, car, and motorcycle. They found his work overalls covered with blood, but Josh said it was from animals during hunting. Specialists confirmed this, finding no other evidence linking Josh to the situation. They also found a DNA sample in the field, not Josh's, prompting them to continue the search. The police received a call from a farmer the next day, saying they found a motorcycle helmet with blood on it on the roadside. The helmet could have belonged to the kidnapper. The FBI stepped in, examining a photo Josh had taken of Sierra before she disappeared. They identified her clothing, but noticed a fitness bracelet on her wrist, turned off shortly after. Despite suspicions, Josh was cleared when his DNA didn't match the field sample. The investigation expanded when the helmet with blood was found, suggesting a potential lead. The FBI, involved now, closely examined the photo of Sierra, noting her clothing and the turned-off fitness bracelet. After Sierra disappeared, investigators couldn't locate her phone when they asked for its geolocation data. Soon after, a tip came in when Josh reported a suspicious white van tailing him and Sierra on the road. The driver seemed to follow them, slowing down when they did. Josh tried approaching the van, but it veered away. Although he had a partial license plate number, the police quickly found the van and its owner, a woman unrelated to the case. She claimed Josh had tried to approach and push her off the road, leading investigators to believe it was a misunderstanding. With no new leads after days of searching for Sierra, the police decided to interview anyone with a history of violent crimes in nearby communities. James Worley, a 57-year-old man living close to where Sierra's bicycle was found, caught their attention. In the 1990s, he had been convicted of kidnapping a young woman on her bike, using a screwdriver during the crime. Given his proximity to Sierra's disappearance site, the police focused on James. James was immediately suspected of involvement in Sierra's disappearance due to his criminal history. Despite his denial and annoyance during the questioning, he allowed the police to search his home on their 120-acre farm, where he lived with his mother. The property had various buildings. The investigators spent a lot of time looking at James's place. James kept repeating the same thing, which seemed odd to the detectives. But something more interesting came up. James suddenly admitted he had recently traveled along the road on the night Sierra disappeared, and his motorcycle broke down not far from where the police found Sierra's bicycle. He claimed to have seen her bike, decided to approach it, and entered the field while pushing his motorcycle. As he walked, his helmet, sunglasses, screwdriver, and car fuses all fell out. His motorcycle started up again abruptly, and he continued driving without picking up those items. The detectives found this story dubious, especially after a witness reported seeing a strange van on that road the evening of Sierra's disappearance. The van was speeding, and the witness noted the license plate number. Detectives discovered the van belonged to James. Inside, they found a ski mask, duct tape, plastic clamps, handcuffs, and a maze. In one of the barns, they found a separate room with an air mattress, a hidden door, and chains. The refrigerator next to the mattress contained traces of blood, suggesting thorough cleaning with a noticeable bleach aroma. The detectives also found several pairs of bras and one pair of women's underwear with blood on it. This evidence was enough to temporarily detain James while experts reviewed it. During questioning, James claimed the hidden room was an improvised film set for shooting adult material. However, the detectives were skeptical. 3 days after Sierra vanished, the police discovered her body in a freshly dug grave in a field. She was handcuffed, had a large plastic toy in her mouth, wore an adult diaper, and showed no signs of violence. Forensic experts found female DNA on duct tape near the mattress, matching Sierra's DNA. James's smartphone's geolocation data indicated he spent nearly 2 hours close by on the night of Sierra's disappearance. The detectives also learned from a psychologist that James had previously expressed his intention to bury bodies in a prior kidnapping. The psychologist had not alerted the police until after James was charged with murder. Based on the evidence, the detectives constructed a likely chronology of events, suggesting James struck Sierra with his helmet, dragged her into a field with his bicycle, and remained there until dusk, possibly to establish an alibi by calling his brother when it started getting dark. James returned home after his encounter with Sierra, got off his motorcycle, got into his van, and went back to where he had left Sierra. He took her to his barn, where she might have been asleep or tied up. What happened next, only James knew. It seems he hurt Sierra before killing her and burying her in a field. Experts think she might have been there for 3 days. Despite James saying he didn't do any of this, evidence came up during the trial that made it stronger against him. Before the trial started in March 2018, they found that James's keychain had the key to the handcuffs found on the victim. But James didn't give any strong reasons to prove he didn't do it. His defense stuck to the story that he only wanted to set up an adult film studio in his barn, not that he was involved in the murder. In less than a month, the trial ended. On March 28th, the jury said he was guilty. James was given a death sentence, set for May 20th, 2025. Detectives knew this wasn't the end of the story. They found out James had done similar things before but had escaped getting in trouble for them. They kept investigating but couldn't link James to other missing persons cases. The victim's parents created the Sierra Scholarship and pushed for a law that would make a public list of people who had been found guilty of murder and kidnapping in the past. The law passed on March 20th, 2019. Do share your thoughts on this story in the comments, and remember to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.